Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at your calendar, fully color-coded, beautifully time-blocked, and still ended the day feeling like you got hit by a truck? Like, technically, you had a plan, but reality had other ideas. You woke up motivated, you had your little focus block, you were going to crush it. And then, an urgent email, a last-minute meeting, a phone call you couldn't ignore. Someone else's emergency now became your priority. And suddenly, your 3-hour productivity block turned into survival mode. Now, here's the part no one says out loud. When that happens, most people don't blame the system. They blame themselves. I should have protected my time better. I need more discipline. I just need to wake up earlier. But here's the thing. Time management works best when time is actually yours to manage. And for a lot of high-load lives, it isn't. So today we're not fixing your discipline. We're fixing the model. Time management advice is built on a few quiet assumptions. They're rarely stated outright, but they're baked into almost every planner, system, and productivity book. Assumption number 1, you control your time. Meaning, if it's on your calendar, it stays there. No one interrupts you. Nothing unexpected happens. No one above you shifts priorities at 2:17 p.m. That's so adorable. Because in high-load environments, whether that's work, family, leadership, or just being the reliable one, control is relative. Assumption number 2, your energy is stable. Most systems assume that Monday feels like Tuesday, which feels like Thursday. That you'll wake up with roughly the same mental clarity, the same emotional bandwidth, the same decision-making power. But energy isn't mechanical. It fluctuates based on stress, sleep, conflict, responsibility spikes, conversations you're still replaying in your head. And if your load is high, energy becomes unpredictable. Planning without accounting for that doesn't create structure. It creates guilt. Assumption number 3, interruptions are optional. That you can just turn off your notifications. Set boundaries. Protect your time. Now, don't get me wrong, boundaries matter, but some roles don't allow clean edges. If you're the decision maker, the go-to person, the emotionally steady one, the parent, the supervisor, the fixer, interruptions aren't distractions. They're built into the job. And when a system assumes that you can operate like interruptions are rare, but your reality is actually interruption heavy, the system doesn't fail. It just wasn't built for your context. And here's the dangerous part. When people repeatedly fail at a system that doesn't match their reality, they assume that they are the problem, instead of asking whether the model was incomplete. So before we talk about better time management, we need to talk about load. Because time isn't always the constraint. Capacity is. So let's define something clearly. High load is not the same thing as being busy. Busy is having a lot to do. High load is carrying a lot at once. There is a difference. You can be busy and light, and you can look calm and be carrying everything. High load means multiple invisible demands running in the background of your mind all day. Let me break that down. First, cognitive load. This is constant decision making. What's urgent? What can wait? What happens if this slips? What's the downstream impact? If you're in leadership, if you manage projects, if you're the planner in your household, if people look to you when things go wrong, your brain is not just executing tasks, it's forecasting consequences. That burns energy. Second, emotional load. This is managing outcomes, reactions, and expectations. It's thinking, how are they going to take this? What happens if this disappoints someone? Is everyone okay? Did I handle that conversation right? Emotional labor rarely shows up on a to-do list, but it absolutely drains capacity. Third, responsibility load. This is the stuff that can't drop. The task where if you don't do it, it doesn't get done, or it gets done poorly, or it creates another problem. That kind of responsibility changes how you operate because there's no oops. There's no I'll circle back next week. There's pressure attached. Now here's where this matters. When load is high, attention fragments. You start a task, and halfway through, you're thinking about 3 other things that also matter. Your energy becomes inconsistent. Some days you feel sharp, some days you feel foggy. Not because you're lazy, but because you're carrying more. Planning becomes reactive. You don't move from priority to priority. You move from fire to fire. And if a system assumes your attention is clean, your energy is steady, and your day is protected, it's not aligned with your context. So again, time isn't always the constraint. Capacity is. Now let's talk about why traditional time management fails under high load. Not because it's useless, but because it assumes the wrong variables. Most systems are built like this. If you block the time, you will perform. Simple, clean, logical. But energy doesn't work like that. You don't wake up with the same emotional bandwidth every morning. Some days you slept, some days you didn't. Some days you had a hard conversation. Some days you're replaying something in your head. Some days you're managing stress no one else sees. And when you plan your week as if you are a consistent machine, but your reality is dynamic, the gap creates guilt. You look at your calendar and you think, why didn't I do what I said I would? When the real question is, did I have the capacity I assumed I would? Planning without energy awareness doesn't create structure, it creates self-criticism. Time management also assumes that focus blocks stay intact, that if you schedule 90 minutes, you get 90 minutes. But in high-load environments, interruptions are structural. They're not accidents, they're built in. The reliable person gets tapped. The competent one gets routed tasks. The calm one absorbs pressure. So your day just expands sideways. Tasks take longer. Conversations multiply. Urgency overrides intention. From the outside, it looks like poor discipline. But from the inside, it was simply reality. And if your system collapses every time reality enters the room, it's not a strong system. This one is subtle. The more capable you are, the more responsibility you attract. People trust you, so they're going to route things to you. They escalate to you, which means your free time is theoretical. Your calendar might look open, but it's not empty. It's conditional. It's conditional on who needs you. Conditional on what just broke. Conditional on what shifted. And here's the part most productivity advice never addresses. Time management doesn't account for who the system leans on. If you're the one everything flows toward, you are operating under a different constraint, and rigid planning models ignore that. So what happens? You plan tightly, then reality intrudes. You adjust, then you start to feel behind. You double down, you tighten your system, wake up earlier. Then you just reduce your rest, and eventually, you don't fail loudly. You start to leak. Energy, patience, clarity. That's not a character flaw. That's a mismatch between model and environment. So if time management alone isn't enough, what works better? Not more discipline. Not earlier mornings. Not tighter calendars. What works better is capacity awareness, and that starts with a very simple shift. Instead of asking, how can I fit more into my day? You ask, what can I realistically carry today? That's a different question. It's not lazy. It's not lowering your standards. It's acknowledging constraints, because every system operates under constraints, and pretending that you don't have them doesn't make you stronger. It makes you misaligned. So here's the simple equation. Your output is always limited by your capacity minus your load. If your load increases and capacity stays the same, your output must drop. That's not weakness. That's math. If your emotional load spikes this week, if your responsibility load increases, if your cognitive load doubles, your output is going to shift. Not because you're undisciplined, but because you're human. Now here's where most people go wrong. They try to increase output without stabilizing their capacity. They stack more systems, add more trackers, download another planner, and try a new method. But if the container is already full, adding structure doesn't increase your space. It just organizes the overflow. Capacity-first productivity works differently. It asks, can I reduce load before I optimize time? Can I delay something, delegate something, simplify something, maybe stretch a timeline? Can I build my margin instead of compressing everything? When load is high, planning has to be responsive, not rigid. That doesn't mean chaotic. It means adaptive. Some weeks are execution weeks. Some weeks are stabilization weeks. Some days are high output. Some days are maintenance only. The goal isn't maximum productivity. The goal is sustainable productivity, because stability beats intensity every time. And here's the powerful part. When you plan around your capacity, something shifts. You stop overpromising to yourself. You stop stacking unrealistic expectations. You stop treating fluctuating energy like a moral failure. And you start respecting your bandwidth. And ironically, that's when output becomes more consistent, not because you pushed harder, but because you stopped leaking. So let's ground this. Time management isn't useless. It's just incomplete without your capacity. High load lives don't need louder systems. They need smarter ones. Before you redesign your planner, ask yourself 3 things. What is increasing my load right now? What is non-negotiable? And what can realistically wait? Not forever, just for now. That pause alone changes everything. And if you've been feeling like productivity just doesn't work for you, I want to be very clear. You weren't failing at productivity. You were surviving under load. That's different. There's nothing wrong with your ambition. There's nothing wrong with your discipline. But the model has to match your environment. Capacity-first thinking isn't about doing less forever. It's about stabilizing first, then optimizing, in that order. Because when the foundation is steady, everything else becomes easier to build. If this perspective resonated with you, I talk about frameworks like this here. Systems that are humane, realistic, and actually usable. And if you're navigating career growth or identity shifts alongside all this load, there's a free personal brand audit linked below. It's designed to help you think clearly without adding more noise. Productivity doesn't need to be louder. It needs to be humane. I'll see you in the next one.